What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very interesting report coming from Spain, from Fichajes España, that Liverpool will try to sign Martin Zubimendi in 2025, because even though Real Sociedad promised Zubimendi a big new contract if he rejects Liverpool, the Real Sociedad president recently came out and said that they have no desire to offer Zubimendi a new contract, and it wasn't even discussed. So Zubimendi still will have that same £51 million release clause active in January, and Liverpool could just sign him for the same price if Zubimendi grows disillusioned with Real Sociedad. And Real Sociedad are in a 16th place in La Liga, just 2 places above the relegation zone. They are having a terrible start to the season. This Spanish news outlet is reporting that Liverpool will go for Zubimendi again in 2025, so either in the January summer transfer window or maybe even in the summer. And Liverpool's interest in Zubimendi is not coincidental, they are saying. Arne Slot sees in him a midfielder capable of strengthening Liverpool, providing defensive stability and ball control. And even yesterday against Nottingham Forest, you could see as soon as McAllister went off and Trent was put into midfield, our midfield looked so disjointed. We were crying out for a defensive midfielder, and Zubimendi would have been a perfect solution to Liverpool's problems. And I think with Harvey Elliott getting injured, that's a big blow, because Szoboszlai doesn't look like he's in great form. So Harvey Elliott could have started against AC Milan, but he can't because he's out injured until the end of October. So Liverpool already are looking a little bit short in midfield, and I wonder if Liverpool get a few more injuries, how threadbare the squad will look in midfield. So Liverpool could arrive in January desperate for a midfielder signing, and there are some reports even in this video that Liverpool are already planning for a midfielder transfer in the January transfer window. So Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are already working on that apparently. Also in this video later I will tell you the report of David Lynch and Fabrizio Romano saying that Zubimendi could still sign for Liverpool. This deal is not yet dead in the water. And Zubimendi made an emotional decision, deciding to stay at Real Sociedad. He has spent more than half of his life at Real Sociedad. He has been at the club since he was 13 years old. And I think if Zubimendi thinks clearly with his head, and Real Sociedad's season will sober him up, because they don't look like a really good team right now. They signed a few really new players, new transfers, and they lost like 3 or 4 of their best players, Mika Marino, Lenormand and others. So Zubimendi could yet realize that playing at a mid-table club in Real Sociedad, he's much better than that. He should be playing for a club like Liverpool, who are in the Champions League. So Zubimendi's qualities, such as his game reading ability, ball recovery, line connection, make him a profile that Liverpool are really looking for. It will be interesting to see how this situation unfolds in the coming months. Zubimendi of course remains focused on Real Sociedad for now, where he aims to keep growing and helping his team achieve new goals. But I think Liverpool will look to be a very attractive option for Zubimendi and his agent, because Liverpool would have tripled his salary at what he's earning at Real Sociedad. So fair play to Zubimendi for rejecting Liverpool once. Can he do it twice? I'm not sure. And it has been revealed that Zubimendi has not asked for a new contract after rejecting a Liverpool transfer. So it wasn't a decision, as I said, based on money or based on rationale. He wasn't thinking with his head. He decided with his heart to stay at Real Sociedad, to be with his family. And the Real Sociedad president himself said that there has been no conversation with Zubimendi to renew his contract. There hasn't been one now, and there hasn't been one before. He didn't put any conditions on us. He understood the moment and he knew it was a market in which some players were already going to leave, and he understood that it was time to stay at Real Sociedad. He has not made it a condition for us to renew, nor have we talked about it. So conversation with Martin Zubimendi was short and quick. I mean, what kind of statement is that from the Real Sociedad president? He's basically openly saying we haven't offered Zubimendi a new contract. We are not planning to offer him a new contract. We are saving so much money by just keeping Zubimendi and paying him the same amount of salary. And I think that's really a bad move by Real Sociedad, because they should reward Zubimendi for rejecting Liverpool, for staying at Real Sociedad, by increasing his salary, giving him a new contract. But because of the La Liga very strict financial fair play rules, Real Sociedad are trying to save every bit of money that they can, and they are saving a lot on not giving Zubimendi a new contract, nowhere near what Liverpool would have given him. Zubimendi didn't want to completely destroy Real Sociedad, because they already, as I said, sold a lot of their best starting 11 players. And if they would have lost Zubimendi as well, then they would have had absolutely no chance to qualify for Europe. Even now, they have very little chance, because a lot of teams made very good starts in La Liga, especially Villarreal, for example. Girona look like they will be strong this season as well. So Real Sociedad are already playing massive catch-up to the top four. The big question from Liverpool's point of view: will Liverpool regret not giving Arne Slot what he asked, which was a defensive midfielder? And even some other news outlets are reporting that Liverpool would not hesitate to rekindle the Zubimendi move in January, were the player to give Liverpool the green light, and with the new contract he was seemingly promised by Real Sociedad, yet to be put before him. And what's even more staggering, the Real Sociedad president is saying that they are not even planning to give Zubimendi a new contract. Zubimendi gave recently an interview to the Marca newspaper saying, "Real Sociedad for me is my life. I think I've spent half my life there. A lot of what I am is part of La Real. It is my life." And Zubimendi wants to taste success at Real Sociedad. So his plan was to stay at Real Sociedad, to keep helping them qualify for Europe. Now, Real Sociedad is now 5th season in a row in Europe, but they are mostly in the Europa League. So they are not a Champions League club. It is true that right now we are not at 100%. We have new players who have barely trained with us, and other important ones have left. As soon as we find the right mix, things will be fine. And I'm sure Zubimendi will watch some Liverpool away games in the Champions League with envy that what could have been. So maybe his mind will change until the January transfer window. Peter O'Rourke, who is a transfer correspondent, English journalist, is reporting that Michael Edwards is working on a new Liverpool midfield signing and he revealed that Liverpool have already started planning for the January transfer window, and they are already aware of where they want to strengthen, and that's, I think, blatantly obvious. It's the midfield. And Liverpool already are assessing their options for the January transfer window. They will not be drawn into signing players for the sake of it, really sure any new arrivals are the right fit for the club. Ryan Gravenberch has impressed in a new role since the arrival of Arne Slot, but there is a feeling that the squad needs a specialist backup in his position, and I think that's 100% true. Gravenberch can't play every game. It looks like Arne Slot doesn't fancy Wataruendo at all. He hasn't even featured this season. And also, Curtis Jones is not really a number 6. He's not really defensive midfielder. McAllister is not either, even though Gravenberch and McAllister so far played pretty well in those positions. Michael Edwards has previously been credited for his role in the signing of the likes of Mo Salah, Van Dijk, and Liverpool need to absolutely nail this midfielder signing, and I think we have enough time until the January transfer window to scout the market. If Zubimendi is not interested, then we need to sign a player who has similar quality. And Fabrizio Romano dropped a major update about Martin Zubimendi, and it has been a little bit of a surprise, because he said, "I would not be surprised if Liverpool try to sign Zubimendi in the future." And it's not just Fabrizio Romano who believes that Liverpool would rekindle their interest in Martin Zubimendi. David Lynch, who is a Liverpool-based journalist, is very well connected. He has sources inside Liverpool Football Club. He said this, and I quote, "I don't think that was completely closed off, the Martin Zubimendi transfer. I still think Liverpool will want a number 6. They will want to swap out Endo for someone who fits their profile, who fits what Arne Slot is exactly looking for. Liverpool have a very narrow list of targets, And we know Zubimendi ticks so many boxes for Liverpool. Potentially in January, this deal could be reignited. Maybe one to keep an eye on. I think David Lynch heard from Liverpool sources that if Zubimendi maybe changes his mind and gives indication to Liverpool that he's open to a transfer, that Liverpool will try again in the future. And I think we need to be ruthless. If Zubimendi is the best solution, then we need to put a convincing package together. I think tripling his salary is already convincing enough. Zubimendi just needs to see how bad it is at Real Sociedad, and he's already, suffering. He has been playing every game, and Real Sociedad still, I think, only has 1 win in 5 games or something like that. And Arne Slot was asked an interesting question: was the international break a factor in Liverpool's loss? And I think a lot of players looked tired mentally, physically, and I mean after flying halfway over the world in some player cases, like the South American players like McAllister looked very tired. Even Van Dijk wasn't his sharp usual self. But especially Jota and Salah looked off the pace. And that has to be because of the international break. Because before the international break, Liverpool were absolutely flying. And we were playing so well. And so this was a very off-color and uncharacteristic performance. And Arne Slot said it is always difficult to say this, but I don't think it had anything to do with it. Players came back strong. And I saw today also a team that wanted to fight until the end. So it had nothing to do with energy, in my opinion. But we simply had the ball a lot. And we had to create from ball possession. It wasn't so much about Liverpool lacking energy, it was Liverpool lacking sharpness, because to misplace so many passes for these top footballers, that should be their bread and butter. Passing 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards. And even then, in and around the box, Liverpool just didn't pass the ball well enough. Arne Slot said it's not a loss that derails the process, but it is a big setback. If you lose a home game, it's always a setback, especially if you face a team who are not fighting for the top 10. We never know, maybe they will go all the way to fight for Champions League, but normally this team is not ending up in the top 10. So if you lose a game against them, that's a big disappointment. And that's not a dig at Nottingham Forest, even though some people wanted to criticize Arne Slot for this, especially rival fans, because he complimented Nottingham Forest just before this sentence that he said. But yes, it's a big disappointment if you lose at home to a team who will be in the bottom half of the Premier League. And they were organized and structured really well today, but also Liverpool were very inaccurate with their passing, and we missed so many great opportunities when we arrived in and around the Nottingham Forest box, and we just didn't make the final pass. And Alisson was also very honest. He said we couldn't create much. We had a lack of quality today. We needed more energy. It is 3 points we have lost today unnecessarily. All the opportunities we had were not clear enough. They defended great, they threw themselves in front of the ball. And that's true, but to create only 1 expected goals against Nottingham Forest at home is not good enough. Liverpool should have and could have created a lot more if Salah, Jota, even Luis Diaz was sharper, if Szoboszlai was sharper. But these players played 2 full games usually during the international break and then traveled halfway around the world, as I said. That takes a lot out of most players. And this is where maybe Arne Slot should have rotated a little bit more. Maybe Darwin Núñez should have started up front instead of Jota. Maybe Gakpo should have started instead of Diaz. Arne Slot rewarded this starting 11 for winning their first 3 games by keeping them together and starting against Nottingham Forest. The idea was to win this game and then to go into the AC Milan game flying full of confidence, and then we can rotate there a little bit. But this put a spanner in the works, of course. Alisson said it was a shame losing points at home is not good at all, but the opponent today only wanted to defend and play for the long ball, and we gave them that too easily when they scored. It was poor defensively from us. Yeah, Conor Bradley and Konate should have done better, and Callum Hudson-Odoi just had the absolute worldie that he scored. And Liverpool defensively had that one, bad moment. Otherwise, I think we were defensively pretty solid. We restricted Nottingham Forest to no shots in the first half. But Arne Slot clearly knew what the issue was. What we have to do better is when we have 70% ball possession, you need to create more chances than what we did. It would help if some individual performances would have been better. I think McAllister and Gravenberch had pretty good games. As you can see in the graphic, McAllister had 94% pass accuracy, 2 accurate long balls from 4, 4 recoveries. He won more duels than he lost. So it was a bright spot, but McAllister again was very tired after playing for Argentina. He also picked up a knock during Argentina duty, and he was only a substitute for the second game, so he maybe wasn't 100% fit as well. Gravenberch, I felt, was our best midfielder on the night. He had 86% pass accuracy, 2 successful dribbles, 12 passes in the final third, 5 accurate long balls from 8, 2 interceptions, 8 recoveries, which is a lot, 6 duels, 1 out of 10, 6 defensive actions. So it wasn't Gravenberch who was the issue, of course. Luis Diaz also was our best attacker, I felt. Jota, Salah, Nunez, Diaz, Gakpo, were all pretty awful, let's be honest. To their usual very high standard, I mean. But Luis Diaz only made 1 bad pass. 24 out of his 25 passes were good. So Luis Diaz was almost flawless in his passing. Aina had an absolute worldly performance against him. Every time Luis Diaz tried to dribble past him, he couldn't. Aina was defending magnificently. This was probably Aina's one of his best games of his career, because Luis Diaz had 0 successful dribbles. He made 2 passes in the final third. He only won 2 duels out of 7, which shows that the defense was very, very good in front of him. He made 2 accurate long balls, and he had 3 touches in the opposition box, and I think it would have completely transformed the game if Luis Diaz's shot goes in off the post. Those are those small margins that sometimes make a big difference. Trent Alexander-Arnold as well didn't have a good game, but he played twice for England, 2 90-minute performances where he played really well, so maybe he was very tired. The problem is Liverpool have a game every 3 or 4 days, so when will we get some rest? I don't know. Maybe Conor Bradley should start against AC Milan, and then Trent can come on in the second half. I'm not sure, but yeah, let's wait and see what kind of team selection Arne Slot picks for AC Milan. That will be very interesting. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, only 69% pass accuracy from his usual high passing accuracy. That's very concerning, very bad. 4 chances created for Trent, 70 passes into the final third. That's fantastic. He made 4 accurate crosses from 8, 4 accurate long balls from 15. And I think this is a good lesson for Arne Slot. You shouldn't put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield because he doesn't excel there. He's better as a right back who can go into sometimes midfield. And he won only 4 out of his 14 duels, which is 29%. That's very bad. And yeah, tough day at the office for Trent Alexander-Arnold. So he needs to improve. The whole team needs to improve. That's the bottom line. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.